In this video, I'll demonstrate how to create an appraisal. This video will feature an appraisal for 2 rings. Later videos will show appraisals for different types of pieces. In the Loupe, I'm currently logged in as this appraiser, who has user permission. This means that as this user, I have access to all appraisals in the Loupe account, including those created by myself and others. I can also create new appraisals. What I can't do is access other users or access application settings. Later in this video, once the appraisal is complete, I'll demonstrate what a user with admin permission can do. This will be an insurance appraisal for 2 rings, a diamond solitaire engagement ring and a diamond wedding band. Under My Appraisals, I'll click Start New Appraisal. This appraisal is for a new customer, so I could click Create a New Client, but it's generally a good idea to search for clients first. So I'll enter the last name here and click Search Clients. The system doesn't find anyone with that name, so I can use this window to create the client. Here I can enter the client's name, address, and other contact details. I'll leave the client ID blank because that will be created automatically. Then I'll click Save and Return. For appraisal type, I'll choose Insurance Appraisal. Now I can verify or modify the creation date and any of the customer's contact details, and add an additional contact, such as a spouse in this case. If I were creating this appraisal while logged in as the admin, I would also have the option here to set a manual appraisal expiration date, but non-admin users don't have permission to change the expiration. Next, I'll click Create Appraisal. Here I can identify all pieces of equipment used in this appraisal. Then I'll click Add Item to start with the engagement ring. From this drop-down, I'll choose Ring, and in this field, I'll enter the description. If my description is very long and I need more space, I can drag this corner to expand the field. I can then click the camera icon to upload any pictures I've taken of this ring. First, I'll choose the file, then click Upload. I can repeat these steps for additional photos. I could click this link to remove either photo. Then I'll close the window. Current market prices for gold, platinum, and silver are listed here. These values come from Kitco and are updated twice each day. I can click here to get the most recent prices, or I can manually override these values if I want to get them from another source. These market prices will be listed in the appraisal itself, and can be used as a reference for calculating the values I'll be inputting later. Next, I'll click this icon to start inputting the ring's details. This ring has 2 components, the diamond and the metal. To start with the diamond, I'll click Add Component and select Diamond. In the reference field, I could enter any known certifications about this stone. Then I'll click here to edit the diamond's information. This page is where I can enter details about the diamond's shape. This shape is round brilliant, so I'll click in the Shape drop-down, find the letter R, and choose Round Brilliant. If your shape isn't on this list, enter the shape in the Unlisted Shape field. This ring has a single stone, so I'll enter 1 in the Number of Stones field. Any time a value is entered, press Enter or Tab, or click in another field to input the value in the system. This stone is mounted, so I'll click the Mounted Radio button. I could enter the diamond weight here, or I can enter the dimensions first and get a weight estimate. I've measured the diamond's length, width, and depth, and I'll enter those values here. I'll start with length and width, and I can click here to calculate the depth. Or I can manually enter my measured depth. Now that I have these dimensions, I can click here to estimate the diamond's weight. The radio button for estimated is now enabled. Or if I have the actual weight, I can manually enter it here. Now the radio button switches to actual. The girdle is faceted, which I can find in this drop-down, and is medium and slightly thick. I'll enter the table here, and I'll leave these other options blank. While I'm working, I'll click Save every so often, in case of a computer crash or power failure. And here on the left, I can keep track of this appraisal's progress. I have the number of pictures, description, and a list of appraisal steps for the current component. There are 3 steps, and diamond shape is the first step. If my diamond were flawless, I could continue by clicking Next Page. But say I have a small defect and want to show where it is. I'll click Plot this diamond. This is where I can manually sketch in any defects, such as chips or scratches. The default symbol key is here on the right, and I can switch pen colors to match. For example, this diamond has a chip, so I'll check the chip box, switch to a red pen, and drag my mouse to draw in the chip where it appears. If I'm not satisfied with my sketch, I can click Reset Image and try again. Now I'll click Next Page to continue, which brings me back to the diamond shape page. I'll click Next Page again, where I can continue with diamond attributes. For clarity, I'll choose SI1, and I'll choose I for color. Fluorescence is medium, and polish and symmetry are both excellent. And finally, here's where I can enter any additional information, such as this description of the girdle. Then I'll proceed to the next page where I can enter pricing information. The pricing method is by weight, and I'll enter a price of $7,000 per carat. I can use market values from Kitco or elsewhere to determine the price that I set for this field. The Override button is used for manually entering an overall value of an item, such as a vintage watch. Overriding will be demonstrated in a later video. For discount, I'll enter 15% and 80% for markup. The value field is blank, but is calculated when I click Save. The Override button must be unchecked in order for the value to be calculated. I'm finished with the diamond details, so I'll click Save Appraisal. To appraise the ring's metal, I could click Add Component here, or I can click here to return to the appraisal items. I can click this icon to edit the ring, and add the next component from here. This component will be precious metal, and I'll edit it by clicking here. The metal here is gold and platinum. I'll choose Tested, the finish is high polish, and condition is good. Manufacturing method is casting, and color is white. The default gold purity is set to 14K, which I could adjust with this slider or by entering a different value. I've measured the weight and will enter that here. The metal has this mark, and I'm entering this additional description. Continuing on to the pricing page, I'll set the method to by weight, and my gold price is 70. I'll enter a 200% markup. Then I'll save this component of the appraisal so that the value can be calculated. If at any time I want to go back and make changes, I can edit the component I want, go to the page I need, make the changes, then save. I could also click here to add notes, which will be stored internally but not included in the appraisal created for the customer. When all looks good, I'll click Complete. If the appraisal is ready to share, I can immediately send the appraisal to the customer. The customer would receive an email with a link that leads to the customer portal where they can use their email and password to open the appraisal PDF. Or I can just complete the appraisal. This creates a PDF which is placed in my Downloads folder. This PDF is the appraisal the customer would receive. Each page has my company name at the top. The cover letter is set up by the admin in the Appraisal Documents section of Application Settings. The next page has my appraiser resume, which was created when the admin added me as a user. Then comes the insurance appraisal cover letter, whose template is set up under Appraisal Documents, again by the admin. This signature is the TTF signature file uploaded by the admin when adding me as a user. The fourth page starts the insurance appraisal. The only item so far is the ring. Here is its description, and the diamond appraisal comes first, showing the chip, properties, and value. Then comes the metal appraisal, and finally, the total ring value is listed here. Current market prices are listed along the bottom. The last page shows the key for any flaws that I sketched. Back in the Loupe, when I return to my home page, I can see the new appraisal here with its customer ID, creation date, and appraiser. I want to add the second ring to this appraisal, so I'll click here to edit the appraisal. The engagement ring is listed here, and I'll click Add Item for the second ring. Its type is also ring. Here is its description, and I'll click here to edit. The first component will be the diamonds. There are 12 in total, and the shape of each is full cut. I don't have exact measurements for these, but I have the weight of each single stone, which I'll enter here as actual. The total weight of all 12 is calculated and listed here. I don't need to plot these, so I'll continue on to the attributes and specify clarity, color, polish, and a description. Then it's on to pricing. This time I'll use the by stone pricing method, with the cost of $7.20 per stone. With these additional values, I'll save to calculate. Next, I'll add the metal component. This metal is gold, with these properties and weight. And here is my pricing information. I'll save this appraisal again. Now say I have photos of this ring that I forgot to upload when creating the appraisal. It's not too late. I can click Picture Upload here. Once the pictures are in, I'll save again. Returning to my home page, I can click Complete when I'm ready to send this appraisal to the customer. This icon will download the appraisal PDF to my own computer, and this one will delete the appraisal, which should be used with extreme caution. When the appraisal is ready for an update, generally after 3 years have passed, I can click the Update icon. When I view the PDF for this appraisal, both rings are now included. The total value of both rings is listed at the end. Finally, if I log into the Loupe as the admin, I can see the new appraisal, as well as the new customer created by the appraiser. I can make any changes to either. For example, if I edit the appraisal, I can edit any item or component, or I can go to Appraisal Information and make customer changes or add a manual expiration date. In the next video, I'll demonstrate a different type of appraisal for colored stones.